In the crowd, people from different backgrounds, languages, and walks of life all shared the historic moment of meeting him for the very first time. Tears, chants, and prayers were seen as the white smoke billowed from the Sistine Chapel, marking it as a first. Vatican City welcomed the very first American Pope. Pope Leo XIV, in his first message to the people of the world, focusing on the unity and building bridges before reciting the Hail Mary. And we're joined by a very familiar face, Father Michael Lewis. Welcome back. You know, we were just with you 24 hours ago, but today it felt like so much love was felt. We almost needed this good news around the world. Tell us about your reactions hearing this news.
I was happy, surprised. I was surprised at how quick it happened. I was also surprised, as most people were, that it was a pope who was born in the United States, and that was not expected, but I think it's appreciated.
Yeah, and it almost felt very surreal waiting for that moment. We knew that they had elected a pope, but we were all kind of eagerly, anxiously waiting for that balcony to see who it was. But there's also a very sacred moment there. Talk to us about the importance of the room of tears. That moment has to weigh a lot on the new elected pope.
That's the room just off to the side of the Sistine Chapel, where the newly elected pope puts on the white vestments of a pope for the first time and really has a chance to reflect on what has just been foisted upon him, what he's just been asked to accept. And I think you still saw some of that emotion in Pope Leo as he addressed the crowd. You could see sort of just the joy, but also the gravity of the moment in his face.
No, it was very raw and beautiful to witness. It was a short conclave, but it wasn't the shortest in history. Were you surprised at all that we finally had the answer today?
I really was.
Okay.
You know, you talked a lot about the diversity of the cardinals, the number of cardinals in this election. So for them to sort of coalesce so quickly around somebody who they wanted to see lead in the same direction as Pope Francis, but obviously somebody who's their own person. I think you saw that, but also I can only contribute the Holy Spirit was at work there too.
Yeah, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, but we actually saw a lot of young people in the crowd today. I was surprised to see that. How many similarities could we see with Pope Leo and our late Pope Francis?
You know, they both worked and spent most of their ministry in Latin America, so I think that has something to do with it. I also saw a lot of young people, but I also saw so many different flags from so many different parts of the world today. This Pope has more than most popes that experience already of having worked with many bishops around the world. So I think you're going to see somebody who already understands the global church and is going to lead with that understanding. Yeah,
well, we're excited to see what follows next. But as always, Father, thank you so much for walking us through this journey. We've learned so much.
My pleasure.
All right. And let's check in with Doppler Dave with a look at your ABC 7 Storm Track weather.